Hi folks, this is going to be a demo on Revit Demo 5. Sorry, we'll be doing some roofs this time. Alright, so your model you should have Revit Demo 4 open. You should have the walls, the windows, the doors, the ceilings, and the floors. So now we're going to plop a roof on here. So I'd like you to be on floor plan level 1. I'm going to go ahead and close this ceiling plan up here and close the south elevation for right now. And you can see I have the 3D view. There's my ceilings and my floor plan. Okay, floor plan level 1. Now just to show you what floor plan level 1 is, floor plan level 1 is down here, right? And level 2 is right there. Okay, let me close the south view. All right, let's go to architecture, and we're going to go to roof and roof by footprint. Notice that this box comes up. It's kind of a hey stupid box. It's like, hey stupid, you're on the lowest level in the model. Are you sure you want to put a roof there? If you can come up with a scenario where the lowest level on a building was the roof, then you know more than I do. That's not going to happen. Even if your building was underground, then the lowest level would be, some kind of a slab underground, So we're going to say yes to this because we really want to put it on level 2, which is where the top of the walls are. Say yes to that. Okay, let's do an overhang of a foot. So I'm going to go in there and do a 1. And let's see, what am I going to do with the roof here? Let's see. Sorry, I'm just deciding what kind of roof I want to do. Yeah, this roof right here, this generic roof will be fine right now. We'll probably change it here in a minute. All right, and let's go ahead and just pick. Now, what you're going to notice, if you see the little green line moving around right there, that's the 1 foot overhang. So A or B? A or B? A is correct, and B would be water damage. All right, so we're going to go ahead and click that, and we're just going to kind of bop around the outside. You notice that the pick walls is defaulting, and that's what we want. And I'm just going to roll around the outside. It's going to be really easy. It has to be a closed loop, very much like the floors and the ceilings. Just like the floors and the ceilings, if you put a shape on the inside, it'll create a hole. Let's go ahead and leave it just like that. We're going to change the slope here in a minute, but let's go ahead and leave it like that and go ahead and green check it. Now, the reason you're not seeing the roof is because we're on level 1, right? We're cutting it at 4 feet, looking down, but the roof is obviously above us. So if I go to level 2, a weird thing's going to happen. You're going to see something that looks like that. The reason that's happening is because at level 2, we're also cutting 4 feet above it. So we're basically running into the roof at a funky spot right there, just right around there somewhere. And then the rest of this is above. If I go to the site view, however, double click, the site view is going to show the entire roof because the site view is at 200 feet up, which means that unless your building is 200 feet, you're going to see the roof looking straight down. So I like that site view to look at the roof. So I'll be doing that kind of throughout. So what we have is we have something that looks like this. It's a roof. Now the slope of the roof let me just look at the south view here, is set up in what's called rise and run. You may have got that in math class. The rise is up and down and the run is horizontal. In architecture, the rise is the variable, in this case 9, and the run is always 12 inches. So it's always the 12. It's 412, 512, 1212, 1612. 12 is the magic number because there's 12 inches in a foot. It makes it easy to do the math on site. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick that roof. I'm just going to change the slope. I'm going to make that a 4. I'm just going to type 4. That's all you have to do, and Revit knows. If I did that as a 1, then you're going to get a super not very slopey roof. And if I did something like, I don't know, 16, then you're going to get something crazy slopey. And all of those roofs exist. We're going to go ahead and just make this a 4 for right now, so you can play around that a little bit on the south view. By the way, when you're doing that, that's happening on all the views. So if I go to the east view, it's still there. If I change this to a 9, you can see how it goes up. So it's all rise and run. Pretty easy. Okay, I would like to change that roof to a different type of roof instead of the generic 12. There's one on here that's not too bad. None of the roofs that are in the box are really all that good, to be honest. This one's all right. It's not really right, but it's close. It's closer to right than all the other ones. Okay, and you'll notice I got just a little skinnier. If I go to the 3D view, we might even be able to get some tiles out of that if we put it in realistic. Let's see. Yeah, shingle roof. You've probably seen these before, kind of lowbrow. We'll be doing nicer stuff in our class. Okay, let's go back to shaded there. So we've got ourselves a roof. I'm on the bottom of page 47, going to the top of page 48. Yeah, so we're just actually 48. I've talked about 48. Now, if I go to level 2, you'll notice now it's cutting it a different spot. Because the slope is less slopey, then that means that 4-foot cut is hitting it just a little higher up, which means that, we're cutting almost to the top of that roof. Again, you're not going to look at level 2 on this. It's always going to be the site view where you can see a good look at it. Okay. All right. So this is called a hip roof that you're looking at right now. The reason, the definition of a hip roof is that it basically slopes on all the sides. So this edge slopes, this edge slopes, this edge slopes. They all slope, especially here and here. And again, by definition, they call that a hip roof. Again, you can sort of see the kind of the slopiness right there. You can see how it's sloping away from the wall there, and so water hits and it kind of drifts down. Really common roof. You see these everywhere. Is that a 412? Oh, okay. So, all right, hip roof. So what if we want to change our roof? We want to change it to something like a gable roof. So I've shown the slopes already. I'm on page 50. I've already shown those. Let me go to the site view. I'm going to go ahead and pick this, and I'm going to edit footprint. So these slope arrows right here show that that edge is sloping. So that edge is sloping, and that edge is sloping, and so on. Okay. All right, let me green check that. Okay, the green check is a finish sketch, so it's kind of our way of saying we're done. Let me see it. All right, let's see. I actually want to be on page 51. If you could be on page 51 and be in the site view, I want to change the roof style. So this is a hip roof. So the way gable roofs work, I'm going to pick the roof and edit the footprint, is the edge doesn't slope. So I'm going to go ahead and undefine the slopes. I'm going to uncheck that. Notice that the arrow's not there anymore. See how the arrow's gone? And I'm going to green check it. So you'll notice now that the roof looks a little different. So that's not sloping away like the other one was. So that is a gable roof. We got a little air conditioning going on right there. See that? So we're going to fix that right now. We're going to pick the wall. We're going to attach top base, and we're going to pick the roof. And then you go, ah. And what's really cool about that is if I change the slope of the roof, let's say it was, I don't know, let's go back to like 1212 or something. See how the wall stays with it. So that's pretty cool. Go back to 4. Let's do the same thing on the other side. You can see this is a hip roof, and this is a gable roof. So that, again, the hip is sloping away from the wall. Let's go back to that site view so you can see it better. I'm going to pick the roof, edit the footprint, and so this edge right here, if I want this to be a gable, would not be sloped. Not sloped. Green check. And again, see how it's kind of gabling now. If I go back to the 3D view, and you can see we got our gable roof going on there. Let's go ahead and pick the wall. We'll attach top base, and we'll pick the roof. And you can see that we've got ourselves a gable roof. Don't worry about these little nichey things right here. We'll talk about that later. The roof really wouldn't fill in that gap, so there's some stuff we're going to do later on that's going to take care of that. They don't. The walls don't angle, to fit the roof. That's just not what happens there. So this is actually pretty good. And you can see the overhang. See the overhang, kind of like see the 1-foot overhang around the outside there. In fact, if you want to, check this out. You could turn on the shadows to see that. Let me just get this into a nice angle here. rotate that down a little bit. So if we turn on the shadows, see the shadows coming in, and we can actually change the time of day. We can put this building anywhere in the world we want. Stuff for later on. Yeah, so shadows, I would keep the shadows. Some people will discover those. Keep those shadows off. It really takes the performance of the computer down when you have those shadows on. It slows everything down. But every once in a while we'll want to take a look and just say, yeah, what does that look like? Oh, okay. Maybe I need a little bit more overhang on my roof or something like that. Okay. So what you're seeing here is a gable roof and a gable roof, right? We have a gable here. Sorry, we have a gable here and we have a gable here. They call this a cross gable. So, two gables, crisscross, like that. Cross gable. So that's what you're looking at. Alrighty. Cool. Really pretty easy. Roofs can get complicated if you want them to be, but I'm going to teach you what my mentor taught me is that to keep the roof simple. If the more you complicate the roof when you guys do your designing, the harder it is to build. And the harder it is to build, the more money it costs. And so you have to spend the money on the roof instead of things like, nice refrigerators and things like that. People don't need a complicated roof to be happy and to have a nice looking building. Some architects go crazy and it's really, not great. Again, we'll talk more about that as we get into the design process. Okay, so we have a cross-gabled roof. We talked about filling it in. I'm on page 52. Sorry, I'm just rolling right along here off through that thing. You can put windows and things like that. We usually have vents up in this area, so when the heat rises, there's got to be a place to expel the heat, and so they have usually little vents and stuff up here. You probably see these in your house too, for those of you who have gable roofs. We'll leave that alone for right now. Okay, let's create, I'm on page 54. Let's create a little shed roof. Let's say, for giggles, that we want to create like a covered patio kind of thing. They call them loggias, just a little covered patio in the front here. So we have all this shading here in the front. So we'll do it with what's called a shed roof. And here we go. Let's do this in level 2. Come on, level 2. Double click. Okay, so you can see what's going on here. We're at level 2. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a roof by footprint. And this time I'm just going to go ahead and just use this little rectangle tool here. I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of plunk it in. It's way out there somewhere, that is definitely not, I'm going to go maybe a little bit closer, maybe something like that. You guys just eyeball it. Now I want this edge here to be even with this edge here. Let's just say for giggles again. So I'm going to use the align tool. I don't think I've shown you the align tool yet. Align. So the trick is you pick the edge you like, and then you pick the edge that you want to go to that. Boom. You can lock that relationship if you want, but I'm going to leave that alone. I'm not going to lock it. But it did what I wanted it to do. Now, if I leave it like this, it's going to be a hip roof, right? Because each of the 4 sides is slanting. I don't want that. This is going to be a shed roof. It's only going to have one slope. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to take that edge and turn off the slope. I'd like you to take that edge. See, I'm picking the line and turn off the slope. I'm not picking the arrow, by the way. I'm picking the line and turn off the slope. So this is the lower edge is the one that gets the slope. And we're going to make that slope, let's make it, I don't know, let's make it 112 maybe, 212. It's not going to be much because it's just a little slopey thing. If you make it too much, it's going to be silly looking. All right, and let's go ahead and finish it and let's see what it looks like. Let's go to the east elevation. And it's too high. You can see how it's above the roof there. And if I show you in 3D, you'll know you can see us way up there. Let's make that the same type of roof, by the way, that we did on the other one. Let's make it a rafter roof there. But it's still a mess, right? It's not in the right spot. So we're going to go to the east elevation, like I said. Let's pick it, and let's just kind of use the arrow keys, the up, down, left, and right. We're going to do the down arrow. And just down, 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 down. You can see the numbers over here changing. Let's go down, I don't know, maybe like -1.6 foot or so. Maybe a little more than that, huh? Maybe, I don't know, maybe somewhere like right around there somewhere. Maybe 2 feet. Let's see what it looks like, and then we can always change our mind. Boy, that seems kind of long, too. Let's go back to the site view. Let's edit the footprint. Let's just move that up just a little bit. That just seemed like maybe a little on the big side. We could even pick this line and just say, I want this to be 6 feet. We can give it an exact size. Green check. Let's go back and look at that thing again in the east view and see what we think. Oh, now I'm thinking maybe I want to move it up a little bit. So maybe I'll go negative. See, it's negative because it's below the level 2, maybe 1'6" or something. Let's see what that looks like. Maybe negative 1'9", -1'9". So you can do your designing and what you think looks good. I'm actually kind of happy with that. That looks pretty good right there. All right, so just make sure that it's not hitting the roof because that would not make sense. And let's see what it looks like in 3D view. And you can see it's kind of the loggia is ready to go. If I did turn on those shadows, you can see how it creates the whole complete shadow. That would be the purpose of having it there. When you're in really hot climates, those are very common architectural elements to keep the sun out of the windows. All right, and yeah, 112 looks, if we did this at a different slope, like, I don't know, if we did this at 412, it would be silly, right? So, like, something small like 112 makes more sense. It's really cool. So you can test your design and test the look and test the shadows and make sure that everything is working the way you want it to work and it's giving you the effect that you want on your building. Okay, let's see. Roof gutters. So what's going to happen with the water? The water is going to come down here and it's going to roll off the side of the roof, and it's going to come down, 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 down. And it's going to hit right about there, about a foot away from the floor. The problem with that, it's a problem. It's not as big a problem in the desert areas because we don't get a lot of rain. But if you get a lot of rain and the water's coming down and down, and it keeps hitting a foot away from your footings, this can give structural damage to your house. If you have water flooding right here and it keeps hitting here and hitting here, eventually where the wall hits the footings, the structural part, it can degrade it. It can be a problem. So what they do is they put in roof gutters and they divert the water to a more safe place. Let's go to the site view and do it there. So we're going to go to roof and roof gutter. Now the roof gutter is going to be on the low side of the roof. Pick, like that. It's going to be on the low side of the roof. Now where it's not going to be is on the high part of the roof. In fact, you can't even pick it. See, it won't even let me pick it, but it will let me pick here. And it will let me pick here, but it won't let me pick this one because, again, that's the height. It's going from low to high. It's not all the way to the bottom. Now, it will let you pick on the top part. So that is an edge, so don't do that, obviously. But it should look something like that. And, in theory, I guess you could do right there, too. So we've got something that looks like that. You've seen these before, these roof gutters and stuff. They have different profiles and so on. But the idea, water comes down, rolls into the gutter, and then there's what's called a scupper, and it carries the water, and they usually drift it out and kind of carry it away from the building a couple of feet, so it doesn't mess up your footings, and could be a big problem. We're in Corona, we don't get that much rain, so you see a lot of houses that don't have gutters on them because we just don't have that much rain. So but good design to have those. All right. I think that's it. So we're going to call that done with Revit Demo 5. We're going to do a file save as project, and we are going to be on Revit Demo 5. Again, the reason I do these demos this way is sometimes people want to go back and, hey, I want to start at where the windows were in, but I want to try putting in a roof. So that means, you would open up Revit Demo 4, and then you can do it. All right. That is it. Have a great day, folks.